Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Star Ladder Season 12 China. We're in Group A, day number 3, and we got our first best of 3. A lot of numbers coming at you. EHOME taking on LGD. This is game number 2, and it was game number 1 where EHOME kind of held their lead. You said that the ball was in their court to kind of drop. They don't drop it, and they get their win.
They do. They look pretty good there. I wouldn't say it was an easy win. I think a lot of that game just came down to those 2 bad fights. Mm-hmm. At the same time, if you're LGD, maybe you look at that and say, let's pick a little more, bit of a balanced draft, have some slightly better initiation rather than just blink call, have a lineup that maybe goes a little later, that can more reliably take objectives after the laning stage. They could just change it up in the draft so they have an insurance policy, or execute better. I think those are the 2 main options for LGD. Let's see what they want to do.
We'll see. And, well, for LGD, their first pick will be the Bat Rider. For the first time we'll see today. That does leave, I was going to say a Vengeful Spirit, but they do the right thing. They ban out the Vengeful Spirit Shadow Fiend combo. That was the opening 1-2 punch from EHOME in the last game.
Now, if you're ninjas in pajamas, you just go, great, we're picking Disruptor right away. But this is Chinese Dota, and much less likely to see something like that.
They have picked up a Disruptor yesterday. I can't remember exactly what team, and it was against a Wisp, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's a hero they still think about, but it seems to be much more of a niche pick to them when they could just get something like the Silencer. Got to get the Silencer. The only region that loves this hero this much, but it's always first ban, first pick kind of material, and this will be the second time I actually get to see it played. First time I wasn't convinced that it was something serious. This time I want to know what the deal is.
Yeah, I guess maybe even as much as maybe this is even just a block pick. So Bat Rider Silencer is really strong together, right? You global, Bat jumps in, you get a clean lasso, and there's nothing they can do to stop it unless they have like mass BKBs or Matas or something along those lines. So I'm curious to see how they run this Silencer. It's normally been a support, you said?
It's normally been a support.
Okay.
So I was like, the first time I saw him, like, oh, Slasher's Way, right? Oh, boy, we might see the core Silencer Shadowblade. And no, it ended up just being
I'm not sold on that build. It's fun, but I don't think it's.
I heard it worked for him, and one of my viewers who's been running it says it's super legit. So I guess it's something that I've tried myself. But when I play Silencer, it's the same way they play it. It's more, that position 4/5. He's just kind of there to zone back the offlaner, who in this case could be a Bat Rider, just make his life a bit miserable. And, well, when the fights break out, he'll hopefully have his level 6 ready to go and be able to make a big impact there. But it is a hero where you kind of base a lot around that ultimate, and if you don't really get the best out of it, he could run into a bit of trouble. No escape mechanism, no way to really get himself easily in or out of the fight, and he can be relatively frail, rather. But
yeah.
They have the clockwork as well, so good initiator, good off lane. They can now block the idea of LGD maybe considering another go at the sniper, or they can also just get the sniper themselves.
Yeah, it's a little surprising nobody goes for sniper here.
They're getting it. They also banned Storm Spirit. EHOME wants sniper. There's no question.
Yeah, it's probably not getting through to phase 2, though. As for LGD, I'm not so sure you want the sniper with the clockwork pick, like you pointed out. The other option is to go for a support here. Ancient Apparition is a pretty popular support for the Chinese teams whenever they get Bat.
Skywrath Mage.
Skywrath is another good option.
Yeah.
They probably want to... No, okay, they'll go Rubik. Is it good defensive support against Clock? If you ever get hooked, you can just toss the Clockwork out of the cogs and
That's true.
And survive a decent amount. I mean, you're not stealing Global Silence unless Silencer does something horribly wrong. So it's not. There's not really a whole lot to steal from that sense.
Yeah. No surprise they ban out the sniper, knowing that EHOME are kind of building it up in hopes that maybe LGD forget about the hero, but they certainly don't. But they can kind of work with it. So if you can't get a sniper, what do you think of this? Like the next best thing? I know Drow has been something that other teams really consider, so they have good damage output, but good positioning, and they already have a ranged support and Silencer who could hit really freaking hard with the Drow Aura.
The classic combo would be like Bat Rider, Ancient Apparition, Morphling. Morphling as a carry does not seem very popular. The one player who I've seen run it is Miracle, and it did not really work out. So... yeah, Drow Rangers is not a bad option. What else have LGD been running? We've seen little Ember Spirit. Storm is banned.
Jug's been ignored, and usually he's ignored by a lot, but the Chinese scene has still been picking up Jug relatively early.
They don't have many games played since the new roster's gotten back together. It was just the one match versus IG. So yeah, small sample size. You could go for the Drow Visage. That is an option. Naga's the hero that gets banned. The main thing with the Naga, she's kind of your counter to the Global Silence. Once you get a Manta / Diffusal Blade, you can just easily remove that silence song, and now they've wasted their big 3-minute ultimate for what could very easily be a 1-minute cooldown ult of your own. So just trying to ensure with this Naga ban that they get good mileage out of the silencer ult.
Also, no Wisp really acknowledged yet. It's interesting to see.
Tiny
teams
Wisp,
have been kind of ignoring it a bit. It's times like this that a team is like, they're going to forget about it, and then they creep it in midway draft into a period where they're going to pick it side by side, and there's nothing you can do. But I don't think we're going to be seeing it here. EHOME, they grab a Medusa. So, all right. Huge late game potential, and Clockwork could be the frontliner to help set it all up, and Medusa can just kind of rack it on down.
Yeah,
but it's relatively early for Medusa, and they didn't really counter ban for the Medusa. I mean, yeah, Lion could have been good, but there's still some good options out there. I mean, I don't know if LGD would consider something like an AM or a Nyx, Invoker, some way to deal with Medusa's crazy mana shield.
Yeah, this is a very annoying team fight from EHOME now. You've got Global as well as the Medusa ulti. Gonna be pretty tough to reliably kill her. Batrider blinks in, you're just Global. Now he's not doing a whole lot. Could get a BKB, but even then, there's still things like the hook shot to kind of interrupt him on the way out. EHOME just a very strong defensive lineup. They don't have a whole lot of kill potential right now. I think if you're EHOME, you really want that high damage support coming out. Probably a Skywrath Mage that you mentioned for LGD could be a good choice here for EHOME.
Yeah.
What do LGD do, though? Something like an Ember Spirit's not a bad option. I feel like they want heroes that can fight often. You're up against the Global Silence. You have low cooldown ultimate in the lasso, so Ember, maybe Slark. Slark can be pretty good against Silencer. Also pretty good against Medusa later on. She's a very stat-reliant hero in a big, long team fight. You keep on stealing her stats, you get that Abyssal Blade, and you could fight through it pretty easily. They will go Leshrac, though. This is... Now, the big question is there any chance it's a core Leshrac? Something that CSW have been doing in Southeast Asia for Musica. Yeah.
Like, and then I was so happy when he had that more recent highlight reel, because I know that last time I came out here, I believe it was the Summit 2C qualifier run. He made a huge impact with the core Leshrac during that time, and I'm happy to see he still has it in his rotation. But as far as other teams picking up on the core Leshrac, I haven't really seen it there. But LGD could go for it. If they're doing it more of a support duo, you know, we've seen it done before with your Leshrac Shadow Demons, but Shadow Demons kind of fallen off a bit as far as its popularity. And I'm sure Rubik and Leshrac have definitely plenty of synergy to be a powerhouse support duo as far as causing a lot of ruckus across the map.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. It's an Invoker for EHOME, and a quick response. There's going to be the AM from LGD. So a Sylar anti-mage.
Well, there's your solution for the Medusa. LGD definitely have ways to deal with the farm Medusa later on. Interesting to see EHOME go for the Invoker here. Inflame plays a magnificent Invoker. Not sure how they're going to look to lane this. For the most part, the Chinese teams like to run the Medusa mid. I think the reason being she's just very difficult to gank. You never leave the lane because you just keep on spamming your Mystic Snake, having full mana, and I wonder this game if they even consider running like the safe lane Invoker, continue to just chuck the Medusa mid. See what the choice is here. As EHOME will be the ones to ban TA. Now, I'm not really sure if that's something LGD had in mind, to be honest. It is a decent laning hero against Invoker, so this may suggest that they want to throw the Invoker mid. I don't know. I don't feel like TA is the hero that LGD had in mind. But maybe there's something from scrims that they've been showing that we have not seen yet in matches.
A lot of questions. I'm not too sure. I still have it about the Silencer. And it is interesting they picked the Anti-Mage into something like Silencer. And I wonder if EHOME are going to get a secondary support who also has a pretty big silence. Like maybe like a Disruptor or some way that they can add additional lockdown. I mean, they don't have the Lion, but Shadow Shaman's still there. A lot of teams go for it, but it's going to be the Nyx. Really good against the Batrider, man. Spike Carapace on that Firefly is just like a headache in itself.
Yeah, these kind of look like block picks because, they get the Invoker Nyx. They also deny those to LGD, but as you pointed out, Nyx is pretty good this game. He's also great against Leshrac with the Edict. You're guaranteed to be proccing that Carapace in team fights.
Okay.
Well, LGD gonna round it out with the Razor. Now this hero has he's been off the map entirely. I'm gonna check some stats here, Dakota. I mean, go back to TI. You saw that hero every game, but he has disappeared from the metagame.
He pops up here and there, but it's not like oh wow, we need to make sure Razor's back in our rotation. It's just kind of feels like we don't have a sniper, we don't have a Shadow Fiend, we're not going to consider going with a Quap. It's like they kind of go down the list, and it's like, well, there's Razor. But they do have great push with Razor. They have great sieging capabilities between Leshreck and Razor. Razor works really good. I mean, Medusa's one to kind of plant herself and just kind of unleash the right click, which is perfect for someone like Razor if he wants to just kind of sap all that damage away. Same with Clockwork. Remaining. Clockwork's not one to kind of run from a fight. He's kind of there to stay. So there is opportunities for Razor to build up lots of early damage. And
the other big option would have been like a Viper here, but... they basically wanted a carry that can go mid and just be a lane dominator, item independent. Doesn't match up hugely well against EHOME, I would say. They have very long range heroes for the most part. It's not like typically where we see Razor excel is if he's up against a low range melee type carry nowadays. So Templar Assassin, actual melee heroes, that's where Razor picks tend to excel, but you look at EHOME, you've got your 600 range Inflame Invoker, the Medusa also has long attack range, Silencer is likely to be sitting back, hitting from distance. Clockwork, you don't really care about his damage getting stolen, and the same goes for Nyx, I would say, as the Clock, so... I think at that point in the draft, there just weren't a ton of options. The other big one I would have considered if I'm LGD is Viper, but... Again, for the same reasons that Razor isn't really that amazing in this game, neither would Viper be. He's gonna win his lane, but what is he gonna do after that? It's kind of, you win your lane and then you don't match up that great later on anyway. So
yeah,
they were slightly boxed in as far as options go.
We want to continue talking about stats. I'm curious to see how often Lanham has played Nyx Assassin. That just doesn't scream out to me a Lanham kind of a hero. That's why I made the call for maybe something like a Shadow Shaman, something he does play very, very often. And I can't remember if Earthshaker was banned or not, but that could have been
It was, I believe, the last ban.
Okay, that would have been a solid grab against the Bat Rider, and could have worked as some additional lockdown. But the Nyx Assassin, all right, so Lanham's a player.
As you pointed out, it is really good against the Bat.
Yeah, oh no, it's really, really good against the Bat. So we'll see it go to strong use here. And it looks like for the first time since their new roster, Inflame will be playing something aside from Shadow Fiend. So I'm happy to see him do something different, even if it's the Invoker with the crazy-ass pop collar. We'll make it work. I haven't seen this Invoker set with the whole, like, Sobi mask, or yeah, what is that? The ninja face mask here? It's like Shredder.
This is the Summit mask, dude.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The new one?
I believe so.
I don't think I've seen it in-game yet.
I haven't actually been able to unpack my bundle because I'm one of the admins, and if you're an admin, you can't open the item set.
Got to find that right person to help you unpack that bundle.
This is the. It's got 3 styles. This is the ninja style.
Ninja style.
Mask, hood, crown. This is the mask version.
Awesome. Well, happy to see it there, and I guess we could sell out and say if you want the same set, you got to get that Summit chest, baby, or rather the bundle. We don't do those
sellouts. Ugh, disgusting.
Gotta get them shekels somehow. Anyways, we'll go on with the introductions. Radiant side, LGD. They're down a game. They need a win here to kind of even things up and take it to a game number 3. We're going to have maybe here in your mid lane Razor nearby. It's Yao. It looks like he might be already forfeiting the off lane here as he heads with his Bat Rider towards the jungle, maybe just building up some early stacks for now. Nearby, we got the dynamic duo of MMY and Zhao Wei going your Leshreck and Rubik support duo, and that will leave Sylar, the legendary core carry. He's going to be playing your anti-mage.
Yeah, this is the support silencer in action. You just cannot get anything out of the offlane DDC. Normally you'll see Bat Riders at least stick around until they get level 2, but Yao's just... He's already said, you know what? I'm not getting stuff done here. Let me go to the jungle. I'll stack. If that top lane pushes, then I'll go back and get my level 2. Otherwise, he may just have to leech a little bit of experience for mid, which hurts maybe, but is pretty essential for the Bat. You can see he's kind of torn here. He's like, I don't know where I want to go. Do I go top? Do I stay in the jungle?
Yeah.
He's just going to have to leech his level 2 mid.
Yeah, he'll have to wait to get the sticky ready to go. That's unfortunate. Do you feel
or farm the mud golems. This is just terrible for Yao. Not level 2. Then the medium camp is mud golems. You do not want to have to auto attack these down with the 40 base damage Bat Rider. This is slow going.
He's going to be using the tangos already, and this is going to take like 7 minutes. He's like, yeah, just forget those stupid golems. I'm out of here. I'm going to go find somewhere else to find some farm. But for the Razor pickup, feel like they were anticipating Medusa to be the mid lane matchup, so the Razor vs Medusa match seems to be pretty solid. He's 13-9 CS to Medusa's 7-0. He is putting on quite the show here early on as far as CS goes here for Maybe.
He is going to dominate the lane. Medusa's a decent comeback hero, especially if you stack the jungle for her, which you can already see they're starting to stack the big camp. Maybe we see this team stack Ancients, as they will make a move onto Maybe. They want to give him some backup to ZYF, but, well, just ends up giving Maybe a whole lot of damage.
And he's like, what do you think you're doing? Get the hell back out of here, and whips that silencer back a bit, forces him to pull out the tangos, but Medusa's
going in bottom, though. They find RTK, the lift, and you're stunned. No, Xiao8 whiffs it.
Oh, man, doesn't catch. Maybe a bit of miscommunication. He just threw it straight up and down, maybe anticipating the drop back solo, but able to live.
Xiao8's going to be mad at himself after that one.
That was like, you could tell MMY's like, I'll just put him right in that spot. I'm not going to put him anywhere, but yeah, the air ball could have cost him. Very big kill. And with that, ROTK very thankful, pops his salve, and gets right back into the groove and back into that lane.
You know, I will say, everybody's got... I'm not going to make too many excuses for Xiao8 here. It could be a ping thing. Everybody's got over 100 ping, which is rather surprising considering, you know, everyone's inside of China as far as the players go. So, I would expect them to not have quite so much lag, but perhaps Perfect World conspiring against LGD just a little bit. That Leshrac Rubik stun combo is... It's not that difficult, but the Leshrac cast animation is quite a bit of a wind-up. It's one of those things where, like, if you've practiced it, you're not going to miss it. But it's a support duo we don't see very often, and as a result, they whiff the first blood attempt.
Oh, a little bit of some sap damage here mid lane as he's going to...
This dual lane is not working. Like, maybe it's
no.
just... He's like, great, now I can shut down 2 heroes instead of 1.
And they're getting less XP out
Tri
of it.
lane. Okay, dual lane didn't work. Let's send Lanham in.
Soon enough, ROTK is like, okay, guys, I'm coming now. We'll be a part of this 4-on-1. There's no way he can have the upper hand here, right? But hey, maybe. He's diligent as ever. And nearby, Yao was able to kind of finally build up a huge stack for himself. So he's actually almost level 5 on his Bat Rider and has 1k gold. Nice little boost for himself after having a slow start in your off lane. But on the other side of that off lane experience, it's Inflame on his Invoker, who's got a good early boost. He's now top CS, 28-13. He's got Phase and a Robe. It looks like he's going the old Quas, Wex, Orchid, run around and, well, get shit done kind of a build.
It's really good against Anti-Mage. You get the fast Orchid. If you get it before the Mansa's near completion, then you can really take over. So if you're Sylar, it's extremely important that you don't die. Got to get all your CS. You know, some games, if you miss a couple creeps here or there, it's not really the biggest deal, but Quaswex Invoker can completely shut AM down in the mid game if he's got some ganking partners, which, boy, does he ever. He's got Clockwork, they have the Global Silence, the Nyx Assassin. Basically, everyone except for the Dusa can constantly be pressuring this anti-mage in the mid game. So I think the Orchid Rush it'll probably be the key item for EHOME. If they get this in a timely fashion, they can just take the game over.
Stun Mana Leak harassment here, and Lennon will plop down a Sentry Ward just to make sure that they have control of the vision mid lane. Rune pops up, and DDC snags it for himself, saying Maybe's on route, but Maybe's like, I'm just going to kill you. Thanks for taking my rune. Oh, but the stun timing from Lanham, he still gets the kill in the first blood bonus. Even if he used to drop here, it could be worth it, though. It does go to Medusa. Yeah, he almost got 2 kills there.
It's not too bad for EHOME. Yeah, they give up first blood, and Razor gets the experience, but that was a very fat Razor. They get the solo mid who's level 7 to die. And
MMY's got a haste rune, and he wants to find where Lanham is. Hey, my former teammate, get the hell over here. Gotcha. Throw him up. Throw him back. Fade Bolt. Boop once. Oh, Carapace timing, and that is enough to get him away.
Off.
Oh, very close, but no cigar for MMY.
They also scouted out the stacking here, so Bat Rider can easily steal this. You know, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Yao just try to smoke into the enemy woods and take this. I forget who it was. I saw somebody do this pretty recently in SCA, and it basically won his team the game because I don't think it would necessarily win the game for LGD. Medusa is still sitting mid farming. Like, it was against an enemy. It wasn't an enemy Bat Rider. Someone who really needs the stack.
Like Sand King, probably.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was a Sand King actually. And
yeah,
you steal a stack, then his Blink Dagger's delayed like 3-4 minutes. This game, it's like, well, Dusa's still not doing anything for a couple extra minutes, which usually the hero doesn't do a whole lot until that like 15, 20-minute mark when you get your Eye of Scotty out. Yeah, I would love to see Bat just try and sneak in and grab it.
I love when teams do that as well. That's the thing, is sometimes things get a bit predictable when you're going against a Wisp Tiny in the mid lane, when you're going against the Sand King. It's just inevitable that there are going to be stacks there, or even like an Axe. It's okay to kind of be a bit adventurous and kind of get that bit of intel, but if you're able to move in, you take a huge, economy hit if you lose those stacks.
By LGD gets scouted out by Lanham as they were swinging around bottom onto ROTK. And Lanham might even catch them on the way back out. He's level 4. Impale comes through. Only catches on 1. They're going to have a Carapace available, as they will chase forward. Tornado, EMP, throws it to the mid. They want to kill off this Razor.
Oh!
What an EMP.
Yeah, no more mana for you. Maybe has got to get the hell out. But ROTK's not going to let him go anywhere. They cog him down and take him home, and now it's going to be Yao kidnapping Medusa to the high ground, but there's no follow-up, not till at least Sylar shows up. And look at the burn! Mana Void, going to be the cherry on top for that as he gets the kill. Now jumping towards the mid lane, might get a 2-for on Lanham, but the stun is there. And Lanham's going to try to slip out from the back door. Can he get out? He can. Now Cog's quick jump right there from Sylar to get away from trouble, and this quickly escalated. What was a very slow pace start. We get our first blood, and then
eight heroes mid, 4v4 mid. The real winner is going to be DDC top lane, just sitting back and farming. MMY now going to get some experience here. It's jeez, roaming anti-mage. We've got the Razor getting chased all over the map. Even Batrider makes his presence felt.
Clockwork comes from the offlane as well to get involved, and he doesn't even have his level 6 yet. He just walks in to get the cogs. And
I felt like I was watching like a Marvel superhero movie, and like they're at the beginning of the movie they have to do like the little cameo for each of the Avengers as they enter the field of battle and make their first appearance, and it's like
they get their ass being like, oh, I'm about to go, and then suddenly Clockwork Man shows up, and he's like, I'm here to help out, and then the next guy shows up.
Yeah, Captain America makes his appearance as well. That was something.
Here we go. Yeah, there's a bit of a trade still happening here, but I'm actually surprised to see the teams really unleash a fight like that this early on. I was anticipating they'd be waiting till their supports got their level 6s together, and then that's when they would feel more comfortable, getting that global silence ready to go. Rubik needs his bread and butter spell, having the spell steal ready, and there is a plethora of good options out there for MMY to take here. So I don't think it's going to be easy to grab something like your global silence, but still, Clockwork offers a lot. Nyx Assassin offers a lot of good options, and even the Invokers. So they need the supports to get levels, and then that's where we really see the fireworks.
You're going to kidnap RTK bottom lane. Blink into a lasso. Yao reveals it for the first time. I think he used the smoke for this. They're actually out of smokes. They burned through all 3 already, and well, they'll have 1 more coming soon, but that's going to be it. So they get the kill. They reveal the blink. They'll probably take the tower here. But LGD smoke usage is going to mean like you walk into the mid game and they can't really, their heroes kind of need those smokes to initiate, right? Like Leshrac, Rubik are not really going to walk down the lane and kill you. They need to ambush you. Batrider maybe can, but he needs a follow-up hero, and they don't have the best follow-up for Bat Lasso. So I think LGD, even though that looks nice getting the kill, they take the tower. Anti-Mage gets the last hit. It is good for them, but the next 5 to 10 minutes are going to be seriously hampered if they don't make this last smoke for some time do a lot. And in the meantime, EHOME don't really need their smokes. They have Invoker, Quaswex, Orchid's coming soon. You have a Nyx Assassin. Once he gets level 6, he can just run around Invis. Clockwork and Silencer can jump you from pretty much anywhere with their ults, so on the flip side, EHOME can just constantly set up those kills and take these fights.
Yeah, they have a lot of ways to be very sneaky here. Lanham, once he gets his Vendetta online, Invoker, I'm sure, is going to be causing a ruckus all over the map as he just goes through the Ghost Walk. And yeah, Clockwork could come out of left field and able to get something set up. So LGD got to be prepared to be caught off guard. It's just going to be inevitable this game. But having proper protection, having your sentries ready to go, could be a game changer.
RTK just airballing the hook there. Would have been big. Now all the mech components are purchased. Just needs to complete the recipe here for the Razor. And that's the point where LGD are just going to be running around with 4 heroes while they do their classic 4 protect 1. Some things may have changed Dakota. LGD with a new roster, some fresh talents, and maybe a wily veteran and MMY joining the squad. But in a lot of ways, it still reminds you of the good old LGD with the classic 4 protect 1, get Sylar fad, and look to take over from there. This is their last smoke for 10.5 minutes. Unless there's one like hidden in the fountain. No, this is it. And I don't think they go.
Whoa, maybe. There they go. They see them doing the stack and they look to interject. They jump in, get a hold of Medusa, but she takes a lot to bring down. Stone Gaze going to be popped, and it forces LG to step back. Maybe will be caught and petrified. But now ROTK swings him from behind, catches him with the battery assault. Leshrek will go down, and ROTK will be in exchange. Inflame shows up and says, I gotta get the hell out of here. I'm eating damage. But the stun's there from Lanham. What a player to set it from behind. But nope, they still get a hold of Inflame. Now they turn back on the DDC. He goes down. And then now it's going to be left mano-y-mano between Lanham and Yao. But they say, we're done here. And they both leave.
Not too shabby. 3 for 2 exchange. At the same time, though, Invoker already bought his Orchid. It looks like, yeah, has everything he needs. So 3 for 2. No smokes now for about 10 minutes. It's time for Nyx's hit level 6, Invoker's Orchid. It's go time if you're EHOME. You should constantly be all over the map looking for pickoffs, and although Anti-Mage has Battle Fury, Sylar is nowhere near the Manta style. If they can just kill him once or twice, that will really blow this game open and give their Medusa some much needed catch-up time, because make no mistake about it, Dakota, even though the rest of their core items come online now, ZYF is... he's not having the easiest time of it. 1-1-1. CS is only 60. They don't have any Ancient Stacks waiting for him. He's already cleared out his other neutrals, and in terms of matchup, Medusa will fall behind Anti-Mage if they're just trading farm. It's unless there's constant Ancient Stacks to go back to. You just don't have the mobility to keep up, so... killing this Anti-Mage, using this Orchid well, this is the key time for EHOME to start making plays.
There's a jump in, though, from Yao. It's LGD looking to make some plays here as they snag DDC and get the easy support silencer takedown.
This is the right when they want to set up bottom lane. Onto Sylar they go. The EMP comes out. Sylar doesn't have a magic stick. Can Inflame breed him down? He used the Ghost Walk to initiate. Able to just barely blink himself away. If they had the global there to follow it up, they maybe get that kill.
Ooh, ROTK comes very close to a sentry being detected here in the mid lane. He's
all right.
to be careful.
Sweet Mana Shield. MMY with the Mana Shield now.
They're trying to bait him in. Xiao Weight's like, oh, I'm just a Leshrek. Come at me, bro. But
yeah, Tranquil Bits Leshrek.
Not happening.
Yeah, we're gonna worry about you. They are setting up like they want to jump this mid lane. They have their global.
Lift to the low ground for ROTK. He's going to have to cog or something to help out, but no, it's not happening.
Wasted global, too. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Now maybe runs away, but he already has the Eye of the Storm out there. Xiao Wei low on mana, but he's stopping in place. EMP's going to be popped. Now they turn back the other way. It's LGD looking to go in the assault with Sylar showing up. Blows up the Medusa with the Mana Void, and now he's on a killing spree. Lanham, nice two-man stun, but Sylar jumps up in front. Orchid's going to put him on silence, but he's trying to body block him to keep him in place, and now...
these lips!
Finish him off, and on the other side, Inflame gets brought down to the low ground, and he goes down. 4-for-1 trade for LGD, and it's not done yet. Yao flies on forward as he takes to the skies and hopes to get DDC, but DDC will be out of there.
Well, game just got really hard for EHOME. The Medusa and the Invoker die. They get nothing done with their first global silence of the game. They get nothing done with the Invoker Orchid, fail on the Anti-Mage gank bottom, then he ends up going down mid. Suddenly, Sylar has a completed Yasha inbound, and he can just build towards the Manta style. It can go so differently, though. Imagine if EHOME don't get caught mid with the silencer that first time before he globaled. He has global ready, so they can kill off Sylar bottom with the Invoker. Then Sylar isn't farming. He's probably not joining the fight mid, and if he is, less likely to be getting those kills. Instead, they use the global when it doesn't make a difference. When the lasso goes off, it's one of those things where the end result is terrible for EHOME, but it just comes down to these slight advantages. You look at this Observer Ward, actually pretty unusual spot to place an Observer Ward mid, but you could see why. It's out of range of a lot of the common sentry spots, like down in the river is pretty common, up on your side of the hill is fairly common, and that Observer Ward set everything up. It set up the Batrider lasso, and then from there, they constantly knew which heroes were near the tower. I guess they don't need smoke. They just walk in mid, use their wards, and EHOME are unable to counter-initiate.
And it's everything based around mid. I feel like all these fights are mid. Just so that's why they feel like they need to pre-prep the area by getting a couple of these wards down so they can have good vision up on the high ground and even who could be nearby in the jungle. And now you see Yao actually taking away from the EHOME jungle on his bat, but... yeah.
Once he gets a BKB, it's going to be a pretty concerning for EHOME, and they're already having trouble dealing with him. At that point, your Nyx can't counter-initiate, neither can Invoker. The only solution is globally after he BKBs, but then he just walks away and he says, great, now your 3-minute ultimate's going to be, or 2-minute ultimate, it's going to be on cooldown, and you won't be doing anything during that time.
Yep. Well, they're going to work together here to farm some Ancients on the side of LGD, but they got to be feeling super confident. Sylar got 2 big kills in that last big engagement, which did secure his Yasha. And once he gets that Manta, just is able to kind of do what he wants more comfortably. No fear of an Orchid or anything like that. And he'll just continue to kind of push on forward with his farm. I mean, he's already at the top. He just broke over the 10K net worth mark. The next closest is maybe on his Razor at 6,700. Then finally you get someone on EHOME and your Invoker at 6,500. So almost a 4K net worth difference between the two. That's a huge item.
Yeah, and who's going to scale better, right? It's Invoker, you get the Orchid, and it's not really about the Orchid itself. It's about the kills you get with it. This is not an item that you just pick up to sit back and farm. If he wanted to farm, he could have gone into a Midas, into a Maelstrom. He actually may go for a Maelstrom here. Gets the Gloves of Haste. I suppose could go back for a Midas even, but... well, maybe that's the choice for EHOME. They've lost their timing window here. They're probably not doing too much offensively for the next 10-15 minutes, so the plan maybe becomes just gear up for a very potent late game, try and hang on, but if you're LGD at that point, you get your Manta on Sylar, and you just start taking objectives. Split push, take towers, threaten for Roshan, and just pressure with this Razor BKB, which is also coming soon, as well as the Batrider BKB. Both of them are under construction now.
Yeah, a big game for BKBs, especially for LGD. Once they get it, they can feel even more comfortable at that point. You would expect that maybe EHOME could have the early upper hand in this game with just the 4-man squad outside of Medusa, and then force LGD to kind of bring out those BKBs for a comeback, but they've already been ahead, and the BKBs are just going to make things even easier for them. So this is just feeling like a lot of pressure on EHOME to kind of try to close out with a 2-0 series. LGD looking pretty good and comfortable to try to take it to a game number 3.
LGD do have to remain disciplined, though. Keep on buying sentries. You can see a fresh set coming out. They've been dropping them down and kind of key choke points, making sure they're de-warded so that EHOME can't easily gank them. It would be a really nice gem game for LGD. I think once the Batrider gets BKB, that's where you just go ahead, buy him a gem, and that counters a lot of what EHOME have. It deals with the Nyx, it deals with the Invoker, it also de-wards so they can't set up the kills, which they're already kind of getting by with sentries for. At that point, LGD should really be able to seize full map control if they play their cards right, and then EHOME are going to just be in there. They're going to go kind of crawl back into the shell and just look to turtle it up, but if you're turtling, Sylar is going to just take over the whole map, and you mentioned his gold lead. It's only going to get worse at that point.
Well, they're trying their best on the side of EHOME to prep for a long one as their Midases start coming online. You see,
this is going to be multiple Midases. I think they're going to try for like double, even triple Midas maybe, and just try to take it super late. They'll make it go on Sylar, but there's your Manta.
That's my Manta. Easy. Steps out and pops away, and I think you're right. Silencer gets his. It's clear Invoker's going for one next, and I wouldn't be surprised if Landon grabs one as well. He's got about 1,500 gold.
The problem is as soon as they see these Midases, LGD are going to just go straight for objectives. Like, they're already gearing up for it anyway, right? They're building double BKB on their 2 and 3 position heroes. This anti-mage is ready to fight. If you see those Midases, then you definitely press the issue.
And they have a great lineup for doing objectives, Razor and Leshrek, so EHOME are going to definitely be losing towers here if they are not ready for a defense. So we'll see if they go for anything. ROTK kind of dancing on the sidelines here, toying with the idea of maybe a possible hook shot, but he risks jumping into bad territory.
How do you really initiate this fight?
Yeah.
If you global... Actually, you can global, and then I don't really know who you jump. Maybe he's a bit too tanky with the mech. Then Rubik has a 4-staff, Anti-Mage is a Manta, and well, while they're busy thinking about who to jump, it's LGD who come in first. Last win RTK, point him out of position. Sylar did blink forward during this time, though, and he used his Manta. Sylar, very uncharacteristic overextension. Will end up going down now. MMY has stolen the Stone Gaze, though. He's going to pop it. Look to turn this fight in a big, big way as the Razor roars forward. Brains down one. It's going to be clean up in IL3 now. EHOME buying back on that Silencer who just finished purchasing his Midas. Well, that's one way to spend the gold. They'll still get the clock as well. Still, EHOME kill the Anti-Mage. They're going to be pretty happy with that, but it wasn't as clean and straightforward as they were hoping.
Yeah, you're asking for LG to make sure they keep it disciplined. At the start, it felt a bit chaotic from them, and then once Sylar went down, it felt like he was the only one who did go with the overextension there, but for the rest of his squad, they kind of seem more composed. And
Midas Gaming.
There it is, the second Midas now coming out for EHOME. We question whether it's going to be enough. A lot of people say a Midas could be at its weakest right after you purchase it, committing a lot for just some attack speed and farm acceleration. You still have another, what, 10 minutes or so before that Midas begins to really pay for itself, and then you get that next big item that can really help out in these fights. So we'll see if LGD recognize the Midas gaming coming out and keep the pressure up. They got that mid tier 2. There's still a tier 2 on the bottom and top to go for. Once you remove those kind of towers, and you can consider going for a Roche at that point. And then it's a matter of just going for the high ground. But EHOME are going to hold strong as long as they can.
Yeah, this is right before LGD hit their full stride. The big thing is the BKBs. Once they get the 2 BKBs, then it's go time. You maybe take the tier 2 bottom, threaten for Roshan. If nothing else, buy the gem on your Batrider and just walk around the map dewarding. They already have good aggressive wards of their own up. EHOME are taking a risk here, but I think it's a good choice because I didn't really like if they didn't go for these Midases, what else would they be buying? Invoker, what does he get? Like a Force Staff, maybe the makings of a Yule Scepter. Those are not really going to win this game for EHOME. Your Silencer getting a similar kind of defensive item isn't going to make a difference. The way EHOME will win this game now is get a super stack Dusa, maybe get multiple hexes or even that Ags Refresher on Silencer, but hold that thought, Dakota. LGD are smoked up, and they're hungry for blood.
I just wanted to use my Midas! Dead, DDC. Don't even think about it. Goes down, zoning EMP, not going to catch on anyone, and...
Well, he did get to use the Midas, so I guess that's worse. Hashtag value, I'm not sure, but he'll take what he could get here.
It's death not as expensive, I guess, but still, he's going to be a ways. I mean, where do you go on the Silencer from here? You know, I haven't really seen a Silencer get to those luxury item status. I assume maybe a Refresher. Ag seems to be a common support build-up for a Silencer.
I think Treads sound like a nice little luxury item at this point for the Silencer. It's just rough, man. You know, you don't have a defensive item.
Shadow Blade.
Anytime they catch you, you're just dead. And EHOME just can't keep wards up. This is going to get worse soon. It's a Shao 8 team. I would be shocked if Gem is not the next big pickup for someone. I mean, maybe Bat even just is asked to buy his own gem this game.
Nice friendly save there from MMY to Force Staff, maybe out from an EMP. Just kind of making sure no one takes or loses any unnecessary amounts of mana. They will scout out and see that there is a double stack on the side of EHOME, and maybe something they could put on their agenda.
Sylar. Oh, he blinks in. This could be the opening. Impale to start. They have a global available as well. Maybe they can chain stun him after the Manta. Sylar able to blink away. They had the global, didn't opt to use it. I think DDC expected that blink to come out a little sooner, but he could have gotten the kill if he just timed it perfectly. And well, now that window's gone, Dakota. Now there's a BKB.
Yeah, they did use a fair amount of spells for that, but they didn't have to use the big ultimates there. And now pressure comes at the bottom tier 2. Medusa first on the scene to bring out a defense as she dishes out the snake and
oh boy,
tries to
split shot Rubik. Easy
one of the worst spells to steal.
Yeah, this is why your Stone Gauge should basically never be stolen. Is you've got the
quick toggle.
Yeah, the split shot, just very irritating. I'm going back to that fight top, and I kind of feel like maybe EHOME didn't want a global there because even let's say they get the ITMH kill, the problem at that point is now it's 2 minutes with no global. LGD are going to go straight down bottom for the tier 2. They take that tower, they get good aggressive wards up. They've pretty much locked up the next Roche, but at the same time, it's like, it's a tough call because now they may lose that tower anyway. LGD might not even care that the global's online, so I feel like looking back on it, EHOME probably want to go for the kill, but perhaps they're worried about losing bigger objectives.
Oh, suddenly MMY shows up, gets telekinesis on RGK, and they take him out. He was just kind of hanging out on the welcome mat of his base, just like, minding my own business, but he doesn't know that maybe it's right there in front of him, invis.
Like any good welcome mat, he gets stepped on.
Yeah. And even before, the important thing is that DDC is right next to him with a sentry on hand, but they just don't know what's going on, unfortunately, and he goes down. And with that, and that pick off on the clockwork, they're just like, let's just go over and get this Roche done.
Well, now they're gonna look back at that fight and be like, man, if we could have globaled and killed off the teammate, we probably should have. Because now they're taking Roche, they're getting the tier 2 anyway, and they're killing our clockwork. You don't get double Midas, but they don't have one big hero, and they don't have anyone who's really going to stand toe-to-toe with LGD. They need a solid, I would say, like 5 to 10 minutes before they'll be able to catch up at all. And I don't think LGD are operating on that kind of window. They want to
generous.
Yeah, maybe even more, like 10 to 15 minutes. But
yeah, it's hard. That's uncontested farm, I'd say.
This is the point in the game where LGD try to threaten high ground. They went BKB on anti-mage. You don't do this to farm. You do this to come join the fights and get more aggressive. If they don't break the base now, they're going to try to get some kills and force EHOME to play defense.
We'll have to see how good their high ground defense could be. I hope it doesn't end up feeling like a one and done. I mean, once the Stone Gaze goes down, the Global Silence goes down. You know, Invoker invokes all he can to try to stop them. There's not going to be much left in the gas tank for a defense here from EHOME. It's just a matter of weighing it out for LGD to add the pressure. It's kind of feeling like we flipped the script between the last game. This time it's the ball in LGD's court, and only if they airball it or throw it out of the stands. This is the chance that this one could kind of go a bit awry.
Gem Bat Rider, all outer towers down, aggressive wards are planted.
Yeah.
EHOME are just not mobile as far as their farmers go. Invoker's pretty mobile, but also if you're LGD, you don't really care if this Invoker gets farmed. On his own, he's not carrying the game. It has to be a fat Dusa to back him up. They probably need a fat Silencer as well, and Dusa just isn't good at leaving the base. So she's, at this point, reduced to hitting the creep waves that come to the tower, and that's just not going to be the level of income that the rest of LGD are able to accrue for themselves. It's going to be very tough to come back from here. EHOME have a good late game lineup on paper, but achieving the necessary farm that's the tricky part.
Yeah, and I know Lanham is a big player, and I can't help but feel like this Nyx Assassin. I mean, I didn't see like, oh, huge carapace that stopped the Bat Rider in his tracks, or you know, the big gank and setup from the Vendetta, but, well, they are making it go on to Sylar here, but he just pops a BKB and just looks to man up on the Inflame, who has to use his Force Staff defensively to walk away, so they will come up short. They do force Sylar to pop his BKB. The Centaur, unfortunately, will be snapped right there from your Invoker. Nice little KS of the creep, but yeah, man, Nyx Assassin. I mean, do you think he was a big factor? If they were looking for support just to kind of have a stun, which is all I feel is coming out of him right now, they had other options out there to go for, but if they were looking for this Nyx Assassin to be a direct counter to Bat Rider or to kind of use the Vendetta to maybe find possible setups and picks across the map, I just unfortunately haven't seen either happen.
Yeah, he's gotten almost nothing done, and I think the other main hero that they could have looked at was the Skywrath that we talked about as their second support. Someone that combos really well with Clockwork, pretty decent with the Quas Lex Invoker. Just you cold snap them, you just keep on nuking them and bring them down as the enemy heroes retreat. Also zones very well, which you look back at the mid lane, Silencer got nothing done trying to support that lane. If that's a Skywrath who comes in to help mid and they just leave the Silencer top, they could have actually slowed down maybe a bit. It was like a quad lane mid to try and deal with the Razor. So yeah, I think looking back on it, the Nyx pick has not paid off. It could have worked, but they just didn't hit the windows. And a lot of it comes down to like, okay, they get the Orchid, they have their first global, and then bam, Bat Rider's fighting clean initiation. They weren't able to stop it. Fight after fight just going LGD's way.
Big stun leading from Lanham, but there's going to be the snag on the Medusa, the prize target, and she just gets erupted into Deathland right there. And quickly 3 go down. LGD are just like, this is it, baby, one and done, as they move on forward and just slaughter the EHOME squad. This is our home now.
This is some get out of the game. LGD just trying to end EHOME right now. They had a buyback on the Silencer as well, but oh my, that was a kick in the face from LGD, and
they kicked the door down and it just fell on their face. And just like they just got knocked over on their ass.
That was like a cartoon moment there.
Oh, well. Doesn't take long.
The best part was they popped the global right after the BKBs, I think even after the anti-mage advantage. In theory, that's like the ideal global, but they just don't care. They just keep on auto-attacking, and then the global ends. Bam! Mono Void, 3 heroes dead. GG. Just
really,
like that.
Really good stuff.
Clinical showing from LGD.
Yeah, well, they needed it because with that, they will manage to even the series up 1-1, and we're going to have a game number 3. Game 3 hype here already for our first series.
I honestly, if I look at this game, I'm EHOME, do not give away Bat Rider. This hero, it like fits LGD to a T.
Yeah.
Offlaner who can go into the jungle. Yao has struggled a bit in his laning stage, but this hero doesn't need a great laning stage because the jungle is your best friend, and just the perfect map control hero for LGD. So kind of a shaky draft from EHOME, but I also think it could have worked. If the game goes a bit differently, they get that first gank with the Orchid, the globals used offensively. If they kill the anti-mage once or twice, because there was a point where you had Battle Fury Treads and that was it.
Yeah.
And they had Orchid, Global, Nyx level 6, Clockwork level 6. They should be able to kill that anti-mage. And they just couldn't get the job done.
Yep, and then LGD took a big fight mid, and Siler walked away with 2 big kills,
Yes.
and then he had Yasha, and then a Manta, and then it was just no looking back.
And you're just like, oh, oi, 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 oi.
So LGD got to do their old 4 Protect 1, and they looked damn good doing it. So with that, we're going to go to a game number 3 that's coming up next here, Beyond the Summit, bringing you the coverage. I'm KotLGuy, that's LD. Stick around, more Dota coming right up.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning! Solid as a rock! Cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace! Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!